I can see you tuning in. So, welcome, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning from. Welcome to another Inside Timer Live. So good to see you here. Hello, Katie. Hello, Martise. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Anita. Please make yourself feel comfortable and settle in. Say hello. Please, I would love to know if you are here for the first time. I would like to welcome the first timers, particularly warmly. Sorry. Um, as I'm settling in myself with the equipment uh, and you joining in, I want us to give a second to recognize the intention behind this session, why you are here. And I would love to hear from you. What is the reason why you decided to tune in this morning? Saka says good night. quarter to 11, 20 to 45. I understand that for those of you who are tuning in from Europe, it's pretty late. So I appreciate your commitment, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. We have Bruxana from Brazil. Thank you, Bruxana. I love you being here. Thank you. Alison from Washington, D.C. Fantastic. Olga, first timer. Good to see you. Erin says it's almost 11 p.m. here. 11 p.m. here. I'm guessing somewhere in Europe then. So as you can see, I always give that time for you to arrive, because you are the essence of this session. It's not the background music. It's not even my talk. It's not me in front of your screen. It is you who create that homely space in which we all can gather. And I've been loving very much those live events because they give me a sense of community. They give me the sense that people care about growth and maturing, and both mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That's why I do those sessions. They give me that sense, and they help me to very much to mature. So thank you so much for your presence. Erin says, tomorrow, 1st June, is my birthday, and I wanted to have the evening time for myself and meditate in a nice space with everyone. Well, early happy birthday. It is 1st of June here in Sydney, Australia. So I want to welcome you very much to this space. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Happy birthday. Olga says, I'm here because my dear friend Natalia invited me to this live. Thank you, Natalia, for inviting Olga. I can see a friendly banter is happening right now, and that's what this is all about. It is for that sense of community, and we're expressing ourselves in very different ways, trying to feel welcome and feel included. And my job, most important, arguably, job as a facilitator and host, is to welcome you. For those of you who don't know me, maybe this is a good time to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tomek, and I originally come from Poland. And Poland is known for many things, but foremostly for the hospitality. So we have this saying that every time a guest arrives to your home, you invite more spirit, more God, more presence. And that's why we always make sure that whoever comes through our door will be hosted to the best possible ability. And we always serve people food and drinks and make them feel welcome. And I think there's a sense of that in those sessions where we just come together and sit together through the power of the technology. And big shout out to Insight Timer here for making this possible. And meditate and spend time together. And I really want you to have that sense of belonging, of presence, of the fact that you are welcome to this session without an exception. So that's what I plan to do. And I want to use this opportunity as our community growing. Before jumping into the topic, I want use this opportunity to thank you all for so many months now supporting me and sending me messages and comments. And in the same way as you press the heart on the side of your screen, I want to give you a heart myself. But before that, for those of you who are watching me on the devices, sometimes you watch it in the portrait mode, but if you turn it to landscape, you can see me on the full screen, and I think that's gonna be better to watch me. So if you turn your screen, I'm able to thank you all for your donations. And actually, I want to acknowledge those of you who donate to me almost every time. And there are so many of you, but there are a couple of names from the previous couple of sessions that I want to acknowledge. And I don't want to read those names because sometimes I mispronounce them, but you know who I'm talking about. You are always here with me, and this is absolutely wonderful. This is something that really has been supporting me on my journey, knowing that you are here and you are listening to my words and you are co-creating this space. For those of you who have been so active and so wonderfully welcoming in my circle, that is almost 350 people strong now. For those of you who comment after listening to my meditations, for all those of you, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And this is truly wonderful. Okay, but today it is about sensing the inner space. And this is something that has been important to me for a very long time, but particularly I've been drawn to inner space in the past, particularly deeply in the past couple of weeks, because I recognize the opposite of the inner space. So on one hand side, we've got what we discussed. This is built up on the previous sessions. If you didn't have a chance to see them, they are all on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Atomic Guided Meditations. So, but this is all building up on exploring the nature of personal reality. So in a sense, these sessions are about you and your inner reality, but at the same time all about us, knowing that we are connected, as we are connected here through this session, sitting here together, creating a nice environment, knowing that together it is much easier to explore. In the same way as sometimes it's good to have a party of people when you embark upon a journey, when you go into the mountains. So you still have beautiful vistas and outlooks, but exploring them together gives you an extra courage and extra appreciation of there is, gives you extra security. And that's what I want to talk about. On one hand side, there is the ego identity. And ego identity, as we said previously, is built around three things. First thing, survival. Survival is the most important ingrained instinct that we have. On the animalistic level, we all want to live and procreate and pass our genes to the next generation. And this is undeniable. I'm not saying this is a bad or bad instinct. This is a very important instinct that keeps us here, and we have to acknowledge it. Along the same line, along survival, gets control. We do want to control the environment because that supports our survival. And third one, and third aspect of that physical self, of the ego identity, is power. The more power we possess, at least we think this way, from that limited point of view, the better we can survive, the better we can control space around us, people around us, animals, environment. So this is something that is strongly imprinted, and it is part of literally our DNA. Even when you don't know anything, when you grow up, those instincts very quickly come to the surface, even during the phase when you're an infant. And then we grow up and we develop different abilities, and we gain knowledge, and we recognize that there is more than just the survival instinct. However, even when we are mature, particularly these days, when in the times of COVID, times of pandemic, the pandemic that reminds us how fragile we are, those instincts very often come to the surface, and we are guided by them. We are strongly influenced by them with and without knowing it. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. If you start examining the actions and the thoughts, you start realizing that a lot of those thoughts, emotions, and actions are in fact guided through those three things: survival, through control, and through power. And then the next thought for us who choose to dive and go deeper within, we start recognizing, or very often, I think it happens to every single person, you start having sense. I just took a deep breath, because the anxiety sometimes builds up, sometimes excitation, and I recognize this is what I'm talking about. It is guided by me wanting to be recognized, perhaps, me wanting to present myself the best of my ability. This is the part of that ego identity. But then at some point, you ask yourself a question: is it really how I want to live my life? Is it really the end of the road for me? Am I always going to be only concerned with paying the bills, making sure that I have a shelter and food on my table? As you can see, I'm not saying these are bad things. These are absolutely necessary things. And it is important to take care of them. But at the same time, as human beings, we have this incredible opportunity to pass through and penetrate that veil of basic instincts, of survival, of ego identity. And I think that's what I've been trying to do throughout the sessions, to invite you personally to take a moment, slow down, and look what is going on personally, individually. How are my actions and my thoughts? Where are they coming from? And I can speak only for myself, but a lot of my actions are in fact dictated by those basic instincts, by the survival, power, and control. And sometimes I'm not even conscious of that happening. But what I know, that the emotions from the retrospect, the emotions that are coming from that space are those of stress, of anxiety, of what we talked about in previous sessions, the sense of gain or lose, the duality. And that's where the sense of unworthiness comes from. Something that, again, we talk about so much. We constantly feel that we are not enough. We are not enough to who? To someone who's 1,000 miles away? To your neighbor? To your coworker? Or to yourself? So it is important indeed to address all those aspects of the ego identity, to recognize that we so often act of it, but then penetrate through that, go through, sit silently, and amongst the thoughts, emotions, the rudimentary bodily sensations, you start recognizing, if you look close enough, if you have that desire to look for truth that is beyond that superficial layer of identity, you may find some opening. And when I use the word opening, it is very difficult to really describe it, because only you can sense it. It is very personal, very individual, very unique. And my job is only to provide you with that safe space where for a moment you can put aside safely survival, need for control, need for power, put it aside and sit and look beyond. And all those things will show up in your meditation, Every time I sit to meditation, the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes is filled with thoughts of, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to teach the lesson, how I'm going to teach the class, what is my next mentoring session, what I'm going to say, how I'm going to behave, how do I please my audiences. And I recognize that part. And I don't say, oh, you are stupid, I don't want to feel this way. I simply recognize as a part of it and start looking and reading between the lines. What else is there? And with enthusiasm, with desire, I want to explore the deeper truth. Not in an esoteric way, not in having some amazing experience, but simply trying to get to other things that are also part of me. The parts that very often we consider spiritual. But honestly, I do not like the word spiritual, simply because very often it's associated with something fluffy and something esoteric and something that just comes and goes. And it's so much weaker than all those daily concerns. Again, paying bills, surviving, putting food on the table. And I dare to argue that actually those values and those deeper qualities are the reason why we live our life. Arts, music. These not come from the sense of survival. These are expression of higher self and high intelligence that artists, musicians, poets connect with in order to translate. They very often live in the space of awe. And that's what I invite everyone to do in a very unique and a different way. However, the importance of it, I want to stress this out. This is not something that is only accessible to rich and powerful people that achieved on this planet, in our standards, that they achieved everything. No, this is accessible to absolutely everyone from all walk of life because it is a part of our heritage. And by connecting with this part of ourselves, with the deeper selves, and again, there are many levels and layers, it's not just one. This is ongoing journey of exploring that. That's what enriches our life. That's what makes our life full and fulfilled. I need to stop there. I need to stop for a moment and just recollect on the words that I say. What do you guys think? Do you resonate with those words? Does it make sense to you? Beautiful. I can see. I look at the. I look at the comment section. I see the conversation going on. How wonderful. Hello, Marianne from Netherlands. So that's what this session will be about. I want to give more time during this session for practice, for the togetherness, in which you will give a chance to sense that inner space, whatever that means to you, to recognize those small bits and pieces on which you can build and explore the opening that you might find there. Something that I want to stress out is a lot of those times, a lot of those openings that you find in the inner space, initially you may not find them pleasant. This is maybe an important clue to discovering the inner space. Naturally, through the instinct, we go away from the unpleasant and being drawn towards the pleasant. But there are many things that on the surface seems unpleasant, not because they are bad for us, but simply because they are new. And the newness of things very often is perceived by our ego as a threat. But if we give a chance to explore those inner senses and openings that on the surface might feel like, oh, I'm unfamiliar with it, maybe I should not go there. To go there anyway and spend some time and see where it's going to lead us. Maybe it's a dead end, but maybe it is not. Connecting with the unknowing, that's how the exploration happens. That's how we can connect with the inner sense, inner space. Maybe there are some of you that have a very strong sense of what inner space is, where you want to be. But even for those of you, you must recognize by now, this is not the limit. There are things beyond. The veils that we have to penetrate, they are unlimited. There's always more. There's always more to love, be more compassionate, be more inquisitive, be more curious. And that desire helps us to move further, continue on the path of exploration, explore and expand the inner space and different qualities of that inner space. I would love to hear after the meditation, and actually at any time when you in your meditations, when you get in touch with that inner space, I would love to hear how you experience it. I know words we may fail to really describe what it is, but that's what the circle is for. We're throwing out our comments, our perceptions. Maybe someone else will resonate with what you experience, and you can build up together. You can create a painting, a collage of different experiences that are also wonderful, that pay tribute to the higher self, or to the part of our personality that is beyond survival, power, and control. This is something wonderful. This is the beginning of a journey. So that's what I invite you to today, during this session. Sensing the inner space and what it means to you. There's not a right or wrong way of doing it. It's only your unique, individual, personal way of sensing the inner space. You are the active ingredient. I use that word a lot. And do it joyfully. Do it purposefully. Do not be afraid. You might encounter obstacles. More of the same, the whole nature that you've been all training so much every day, so many hours every day. But there is more. And to discover that more, we have to be sometimes patient and persistent. But the hope is that together, this journey will be a bit easier. We are in a good company, and I recognize that, and I'm thankful for that. Okay. I just read your comments, and Tessama says that her phone battery died, and I'm back. This is a good point. We have to deal with the basic of lives. Phone battery is important these days. Without it, we couldn't be connected. So we take care of it, and then we move on, hopefully. Leah says, I have like a cool breeze goes through me when I breathe and hold breath and spin like spinning top. Up and down it goes inside spinning. Then I rock sideways and back and forth. Yeah, this seems like an explanation or a description of an experience that is beyond the usual things, right? Okay, let's meditate. Today, once again, Pablo Arellano, Space of Love. This is the music we'll be listening to. And I hope you enjoy it. So if you wish, take a sip. Make yourself feel at ease. And before you close your eyes, begin by recognizing all those parts of the reality that you can recognize straight away. The room around you, the entire space, in which you can feel for the short period of time safe, secure, and protected. Make sure that all those basic needs are met right now. The house is not on fire. Nobody tries to kill you. You are not hungry. You are not thirsty. Recognize that. So, in the meditation space, even in the thoughts come your way, you say, I'm okay, I'm safe, secure, and protected. I have time to explore. And the second part is to create that intention in you. The desire to know the deeper truth, whatever that is. Not in an esoteric way, but in a very tangible way. Once you feel the inner space, the essence, that's where you're heading. It might be not all the time, but that's where you're going. That's what you try. What's the aim of this exploration. So now even more, settle in, make yourself at ease. Start softening your physical body. Make sure that if there's any tension that may get in the way, remove it. Soften the tension, soften the discomfort. Rest your feet on the floor, your hands flat and open in your lap. And allow your eyes to close. And start moving in. Start sensing the immediate reality of your physical body, sensations. Normally, we are focused externally, where vision is the sense that brings the most information. But now with the eyes closed, our attention can go inside. On the surface, there are bodily sensations. Our feet on the floor, hands in your lap, your sit bones feeling the surface, connecting through your lower upper back. There may be some even pain for those of you who experience some pain. Maybe there are some of you that have a chronic pain, and that's the physical reality that has to be acknowledged. And right at the start of the meditation, I want you to acknowledge that this is important. The physical aspect of this reality. It's not something that we try to dismiss, something that we try to avoid, but something that we try to work with. Recognizing that sensing the inner reality, it is possible through the vehicle of your physical body. So you don't try to fight it, but sense the inner space through the vehicle of your physical body. Accept and embrace everything that comes your way. And start noticing that amongst thoughts, sensations, feelings, there is the depth on which all those other things rest. And with intention of exploring that space underneath, you move in. It doesn't mean that all those other things disappear. On the contrary, you may start feeling them more intensely because your awareness expands and includes those things. But you may also feel safer and encouraged to explore those things, those physical things, with less judgment, embracing them, knowing that sometimes those are the way for the inner exploration. Remember that the space that we try to explore very often manifests itself in a similar manner as physical sensation. Maybe it's an unusual tingling in some part of your body. Maybe it is a spaciousness that you strongly perceive on the top of your head, as I perceive right now, the right side of my head. You may perceive those things initially as physical, but if we dare to explore, you realize that they're beyond that usual physical sense. As we sit together, you know that there's no right or wrong. There's no correct or incorrect way of exploration. It is just trial and error of following the path that you haven't explored before, with a strong desire of discovering the unknown, using the known as a vehicle. Feeling comfortable, feeling secure, feeling included. It may not be a strong sense, but you pick up the hints. It may seem as breadcrumbs at first. Inner opening, small opening, but leading us to something beyond. Maybe there's a substance to what you perceive. A physical body allows us to perceive a viscosity, maybe sweetness, of the inner space beyond the words, beyond emotions, beyond bodily sensations. Embracing the unknown. You may find you're afraid of going that way. And that's simply the ego identity doing what it's designed to do, to stop you from taking any risks. As we said, the intention at the beginning of this meditation, there's no need to be afraid, because you are indeed safe, secure, and protected. And all those ego needs are being met. So you still hear the thoughts, still your ego finds excuses to not get there. You say, okay, I am an explorer now, and I will take this risk to move forward rend the veil. Notice this is a gradual process. It requires patience and commitment. But it does work. Amongst thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, there is space. And that space has a depth that we enter with our awareness, with open hearts and open minds, walking into the unknown. Saying yes to what comes our way. May feel like it is a back and forth movement between the physicality and that what is not physical. And that's okay, because with every step we build up towards opening even more. Slowly, carefully, patiently, but encouraged with the presence of all of us here. it's time to conclude our little journey within. Notice, what does he experience right now? Make a mental note, so you may return to this space to pick up where you left off. Express gratitude for everything that you experienced, for all the things that came to awareness, but also to everything that happened under the surface that you do not notice. That is plenty. The intention that you took at the beginning of this journey makes a difference. It sets you upon a journey that is ongoing. Your intention has been heard and understood, and there are more like-minded people, like-minded beings that support you on that journey, even if you are not aware of it. All of us here, connected from across this planet, are amongst those who support you. So express your gratitude towards them as well. And give yourself thanks for the courage to be here and to meditate and to take the leap beyond the ordinary, beyond the survival. So, notice, how does it feel to reconnect with the physical senses? Embodied state of awareness where you recognize the boundaries of your physical body and focus your attention on your inner sensations. Perhaps there's a lightness in your body that you did not recognize before, that it's part of you and it always has been there. Sense your feet on the floor and your hands in your lap, and your lower and upper back pressing against the chair, on the couch, or any surface that you connected with. Slowly coming back, reconnecting with the physical senses, hearing the music, seeing through your closed eyes, engaging your sight. And now slowly add some physical movement. Start with wiggling your toes and moving your fingers. Knowing that you command your physical body. Your physical body is not the entirety of you, but you have capacity of commanding it. Slowly and gently tilt your head to the left. Tilt your head to the right. Back to the center. And to conclude, let us all together, some different countries across the world, take one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes and welcome back. How wonderful. How do you feel? If you have a glass of water with you, take a sip. And if you wish, please tell us all, what did you find there? Can you even express it? Was it something that you found unusual about this short journey? This is space for you to share. I'm here to listen and to support you. Maybe you find something that requires further exploration. As a scientist, I always encourage the scientific curiosity, the inquisitiveness, searching for the truth beyond the ordinary layers of the reality. This sounds a bit esoteric. Maybe it is. I don't know. We may have different paths, but we do connect somewhere along the way. As in the metaphor of Mount Everest, where that can be summit from different slopes, and when the mountaineers start the journey, they don't see each other, but the closer are to the peak, they start recognizing, there's another party coming from the other side. And there are other group approaches from this hill and from the other hill. But the closer they get, the more clearly they can see each other, until the point when they summit and they all together. And they knew that they're walking different paths, but for the same purpose. And that's a beautiful way to explore. I want to thank you for all your kind donations, for your support that helps me to carry on and to create more content for you. And once again, I want to, the same way as you click those hearts on your screen, I want to give my own heart to you and shout to all those people who've been donating for me for so long time. And I want to recognize Basha, Leanne, Helen, Richard, Nima, Frank, Katie, Wendy, Suzanne, Caroline, Charlotte, Martise, and so many more of you that I know that support me in so many different ways. For those of you who missed part of this meditation, I have a YouTube channel that you can join, and YouTube channel on which you can see all those live meditations. It's called Atomic Guided Meditations. If you go to YouTube, you can find them all there. I'll be posting this session as well shortly. For those of you who want to continue the conversation and share with us and be part of the larger community that I facilitate, there's a circle for us on Insight Timer that you can join now after finishing this session. It's called Tomek's Circle. So you can go there, say hello, introduce yourself, see what's going on, post or pose questions, make comments. The journey continues. It's a good metaphor for that. The meditation might be over, but it doesn't mean that you stop existing in that reality. This reality is still a big part of you. So yeah, atomic circle. If you wish to be notified of the future events, one of the easiest way is to go to my profile and follow me. And when you follow, after you following me, just click the bell icon that allows you to receive the notifications. I received messages that because of updating Inside Timer app, very often you lose the notifications. So even if you think you did in the past, click that bell button and you followed me. You may try sometimes. You may go again and see if the notifications are still on. So again, you'll be notified when the next live event is and where things are happening. Yes. I want to connect just for a moment with some of the comments. I apologize that I cannot see them all here. They move so fast. But maybe pick up on one or two. Kimberly says, this was perfectly aligned for me today. I'm learning that my body is not fighting me, but giving me important messages to read, interpret, delve deeper into me. This is a wonderful, wonderful way of saying it. Our bodies are very often the source of those insights, or gives us the openings, the gates. Because the inner space very often is sensed, particularly at the beginning, in the very same way as you can sense your body. That's why the practice of meditation and being mindful of the bodily sensation is a great tool to practice and to perfect, simply to gain better ability to access the inner space. The more you practice that, the better, the easier, the faster we connect with those deeper dimensions. It is a skill. It's not something that we do have or do not. It's not a talent. It's simply a skill that we explore. And science backs us up here, that every time we sit in meditation, we create the neural pathways. It's as if your brain responds to the intention, creating neural pathways that next time will fire up when you have intention of going to that quote-unquote place again. And the more often you walk this path, you may realize that something that's very narrow becomes wider and wider and becomes a track or a road that is frequently traveled, becomes easier and easier to travel. Karen asks, same time next week? Yes, 6:45 my time, or between, depends which part of the US you're from. It is going to be between 1:45 p.m. and I think 4:45 p.m. depends which part of the US. In Europe, it is around between 10 and 11 p.m. So it's later at night. Unfortunately, that's the only time that I kind of connect with all the listeners from the US and Europe. But again, the easiest way is to just listen. You just see the circle. I'm planning in the future to add more events, but the moment it's just a once a week. I started mentoring through Inside Timer. So mentoring is one of those things that allow you to delve with me deeper into things that you personally experience. And so far it's been a great journey. Some of you decided to explore it a bit deeper what's coming up for you and how we can delve into it together. Maybe what are the obstacles that are getting in the way, and tackle those challenges together. There's just an option. Many options on Insight Timer to do it. If you feel like, go to my website, my surname.com, tomekvicesany.com. More information about mentoring there. Okay, it's been a pleasure to be with you and to meditate with you and to talk to you, converse with you. I look forward to our next meeting, our next session. But for now, I wish you a pleasant night, a pleasant afternoon, or pleasant morning, wherever you are, like me here in Sydney. And until next time, thank you so much for your support, for your donations, and for your presence. Bye-bye. It was great to see you here today. Oh, Jesus. Oh!